The best PC RPGs aren't just about big worlds and skill trees. They're about the stories you shape, the companions you grow to love or hate, and the builds you obsess over late at night. They let you mess up, improvise, and save the day with 2 HP. I've sunk hundreds of hours into dialogue trees, inventory screens, and side quests I probably should have ignored, and I wouldn't trade any of it. My top picks are the ones that stuck with me long after the final boss. I'll cover the heavy hitters that nailed the RPG formula and deserve a permanent spot in your gaming library. If you thought Dark Souls was punishing, wait until Elden Ring drops you into its giant sandbox with nothing but a vague sense of purpose and a sword that probably isn't good enough. That's the point. This is From Software at its most ambitious, a difficult game and a great RPG that respects your intelligence and your patience. You'll ride across poisoned swamps, haunted castles, upside-down towers, and entire zones you didn't even know existed. There's no checklist here. The game doesn't care where you go or what you do. You build your own journey. Maybe you become a fire-slinging glass cannon. Maybe you're a tanky greatsword goblin who never rolls. It's all viable. The boss fights are brutal but fair. The exploration is endlessly rewarding, and the lore is cryptic in that weird way that makes you binge lore videos at 2 a.m. There are stories here, but you'll have to dig, and that's part of the magic. Games like Elden Ring are rare, and we need to celebrate the ones we have. Baldur's Gate 3 is absurdly good. This is digital D&D, with dice rolls, alignment chaos, and the kind of narrative flexibility most RPGs only dream about. You can talk your way out of fights, romance a literal demon, or toss your party member off a cliff just to see what happens. The turn-based combat is sharp, tactical, and deeply satisfying once it clicks. Every battle feels like a puzzle, especially when you realize you can light enemies on fire with a spilled barrel and a well-placed firebolt. Or polymorph them into a sheep. Your call. What sets it apart is the reactivity, which is something games that look like Baldur's Gate 3 have the toughest time emulating. NPCs remember what you do, choices ripple across acts, and every companion has enough personality to carry their own game. Shadowheart, Asterion, Gale, love them or hate them, you'll definitely feel something. It's also gorgeous to look at. Although technically a great indie game, Baldur's Gate 3 can also pass for a AAA title given its budget and development team. Add in seamless 4-player co-op, and you've got a campaign that can be as chaotic or serious as you want it to be. Disco Elysium isn't here to hold your hand. Mostly because your hand is already holding a half-empty bottle and a deeply questionable moral compass. You play as a washed-up detective trying to solve a murder, and maybe figure out who you are in the process, in a city that's just as broken as you are. There's no traditional combat. Instead, the action happens in your head, literally. Your 24 skills are internal voices, like drama, electrochemistry, and empathy, each fighting for control of your decisions. Sometimes they help. Sometimes they drag you into existential spirals over the color of your tie. What really makes Disco Elysium shine is its writing. It's sharp, philosophical, darkly hilarious, and often uncomfortably real. You can play it straight, go full fascist, communist, or complete nihilist. The game rolls with your madness, and it remembers. The Final Cut update added full voice acting and new quests tied to your political beliefs, making a great game even better. It's a text-heavy ride, but every line earns its place. Before BioWare made galaxy-spanning romances and dragon-slaying simulators, it gave us one of the best Star Wars stories ever told, and it didn't need a single Skywalker to do it. Knights of the Old Republic drops you thousands of years before the films, in a galaxy where Jedi and Sith are everywhere, and your decisions actually matter. You start off as an amnesiac, classic, and slowly uncover who you are while building a crew of misfits. You'll be exploring planets like Tatooine and Kashyyyk and getting tangled in moral decisions that steer you toward the light or dark side. Are you going to be a Jedi hero or force choke every problem until it goes away? The turn-based combat mixes old-school D&D mechanics with lightsabers and force powers. It's a little crunchy by today's standards, but still satisfying, especially once you start flinging lightning or persuading stormtroopers with a wave of your hand. The real star, though, is the writing. Knights of the Old Republic nails the Star Wars vibe without leaning on nostalgia. And yes, it has one of the best plot twists in gaming. Even if you already know it, the journey still hits. This is the one people point to when they say CRPGs aren't dead. They just needed Larian to raise the bar. Divinity Original Sin 2 is a ridiculously detailed sandbox where almost everything you do gets a reaction, for better or much, much worse. You start by picking or creating a character from a roster of misfits, each with their personal questlines, or you can roll your own abomination from scratch and drag a few hired swords along for the ride. Either way, you're a sorcerer on the run in a world that really hates sorcerers, so things escalate fast. The turn-based combat is tactical gold. The environment is your playground or death trap. Electrified blood, freeze water, ignite poison. It all works and it all matters. Every battle feels like a puzzle, and you're encouraged to break it wide open with creative builds and weird combos. Outside combat, it's all about freedom. Kill NPCs? Sure. Steal everything not nailed down? Go for it. Accidentally explode an entire village and then time travel to undo it? Happens more often than you'd think. This is the definitive way to experience one of the most iconic sci-fi RPG trilogies ever made. Mass Effect Legendary Edition bundles all 3 games into one upgraded package. It brings cleaner visuals, tighter controls, and some quality of life tweaks. You play as Commander Shepard, a galactic badass, trying to stop an ancient machine race from wiping out all life. Along the way, you build a squad of oddballs, aliens, and future friends, or lovers, make impossible decisions, and shoot a lot of space dudes. Combat leans more toward action than tactics, especially in the later games, but the real meat is in the choices. You can be noble, ruthless, or somewhere in between, and those choices carry across all 3 games. Entire characters live or die based on what you do, and the payoff in the final game hits hard if you've stuck with it. Geralt of Rivia doesn't care about politics, but politics won't stop dragging him in. In The Witcher 3, you play as a grumpy monster slayer trying to track down Ciri, your missing Sorda daughter, while the world tears itself apart. Kings are falling, monsters are thriving, and sorceresses are being very dramatic. This is the setup for one of the best action RPG games of all time. The quests? Actually worth doing. Even the random side jobs feel personal. One second you're chasing a ghost in a well, the next you're untangling a family tragedy involving a talking tree and a drunk baron. Combat's solid, with swordplay, potions, and magic signs. You prep for fights like a real witcher. Read up on monsters, craft oils, and lay traps. Or just wing it and hope for the best. Oh, and Gwent exists. Skyrim is a second home for anyone who's ever shouted a dragon out of the sky. You play as the Dragonborn, a chosen warrior with the power to absorb dragon souls and scream enemies off cliffs, literally. You can also ignore all that and just steal cheese wheels for 80 hours. Skyrim is on our list of the top single-player PC games for a reason. The main story's there if you want it, but the real meat is in the side quests and exploration. You'll stumble into a haunted house, get adopted by an assassin guild, or find yourself knee-deep in Daedric weirdness without even trying. The progression system lets you shape your character however you want. Sword-swinging wizard? Stealth archer who steals everything in sight? Go for it. And with mod support, especially on PC, Skyrim becomes whatever game you want it to be, from survival sim to Thomas the Tank Engine nightmare. Dragon Age Origins is classic BioWare RPG magic, with swords, spells, and way too many brooding heroes. You start as a Grey Warden, one of the last defenders against a dark force called the Blight. Basically, an evil zombie apocalypse with dragons. Your job is to rally allies, make tough calls, and try not to get stopped. You pick your crew, mages, rogues, warriors, and every fight feels like chess mixed with a little fireworks. Also, since we're talking RPGs, your choices actually matter. Want to charm, lie, or just brutally murder your way through? The game says, go for it. Relationships, rivalries, even who lives or dies change based on what you do. Story-wise, it's a dark fantasy soap opera with dragons, demons, and drama thicker than a dwarf's beard. The world feels lived in, with quests that surprise you, like maybe that simple favor spirals into political chaos. Cyberpunk 2077 was lauded as one of the best games like Mass Effect, but it was a mess at launch. The game felt unfinished and didn't live up to the insane hype that was built around it. That changed after the 2.0 patch in Phantom Liberty. You play V, a merc navigating the chaotic streets of Night City, a futuristic playground drenched in neon lights, shady deals, and big choices. The story? It's part heist, part espionage, and all wild ride. Phantom Liberty throws you into a spy thriller that's tense and full of twists. The world reacts to your choices, from how you handle missions to whom you trust. Needless to say, you should expect a surprise or two. Combat and driving got a much-needed facelift. Shootouts feel tighter, and cruising the city is way smoother. You can mix hacking, stealth, and straight-up gunfights to fit your style.